No, it's definitely on our end. There it is. Okay, sorry, we had a little glitch. Okay, starting now. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hi, Julie.
Pleasure and a privilege to be here. Thank you so much to the American Fertility Expo for inviting me. I see a few familiar names, so welcome back. It's awesome to see all of you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I hope you're having a great morning so far, or I guess depending on where you are, afternoon, evening, wherever you're joining us from. I'm so delighted to be here to share with you some ideas that I hope will provide some clarity on your fertility journey. You will need a pen and paper or your journal handy. And I don't know if people are going to be trickling in, and so give myself a brief introduction of my background. So what qualifies me to be your guide and teacher today? I was born in Taiwan, so I'm a first generation Chinese American, and I grew up straddling American and Chinese cultures, which is what prepared me for what I do now, which is taking the best of the East and the West and blending modern medicine with natural and spiritual strategies for the best results. I've been a clinician with a full-time practice for 21 years, specializing in supporting and guiding women over 35 years, awesome, and into their 40s to get pregnant with a healthy baby. Last year, I released my first book, Cracking the Egg Myth, Proven Ways to Improve Egg Quality. I also have a Bachelor of Science in Microbiology and Molecular Genetics from UCLA and a Master in Traditional Oriental Medicine, which I graduated with honors, magna cum laude. So even my education is part Western and part Eastern. I do have 2 children of my own. They're 12 and 16. So I do know how important growing your family is to you. And I can't imagine my life without my kids. So it's my mission to support women like you realize your dream. I've guided many women who didn't think it was possible to get pregnant, to go on to have healthy babies. And I hope what I will share with you will give you what you need at this moment. So again, you will need a pen and paper or your journal available, no matter what your strategy is, whether it's natural conception or with medicated fertility cycles, treatments like IVF, insemination, egg donor, or surrogacy. It's important to answer 2 questions because they will be your North Star. Your light guiding you when the journey gets turbulent, which at times it probably is more turbulent than you would like. And so you need to be guided. You need to have an inner GPS. And these 2 questions are really important. They are number 1, what do you want? And number 2, why do you want it? The focus is not on the how you get pregnant and when you'll get pregnant, which is where most of the attention is. And that's where most of kind of the talk focuses around is how do you get pregnant, how to collapse that timeline. I'm not going to focus on that because I really want to pull back and focus on 2 basic core questions that pretty much, at least the why, no one really ever addresses. And it's so critical to your success. The how actually will be answered as a result of answering the what and the why, which is kind of the great thing. So let's start with what do you want? This is important because it's always very clear in the beginning, but it often gets lost when challenges come and when the fertility journey gets a little bit longer than you expect. So I'd like for you to just take a minute right now and write down what you want. What is your goal? And I ask if you don't mind sharing in the chat. I would really love to see what you write down as well. And so I'll give you a few seconds just to jot down really quickly. What is it that you want on your fertility journey? A healthy baby. Thank you, Lisa. So I am going to tweak that just a little bit. For those who are using your own eggs and your partner's sperm, so, just tweak it to whatever your situation is. I would say a healthy baby of mine and my partner's. Just to be very clear, because when you're sending out that message to the universe, you want to be very clear about what it is that you want. Okay? To get pregnant successfully, successful pregnancy, a biological child through natural conception. Okay. Thank you so much to be able to carry a baby in my uterus. Okay. Awesome. A healthy natural pregnancy. Okay. So that's enough for now, because this is what I wanted to point out is I want you to focus when you write down what you want, what is your end goal? Your end goal is to have a healthy baby in your arms. The pregnancy is just a stop to that goal. So I encourage you to modify what you want to include the healthy baby that's biologically yours. I'm going to assume, but if that's not the case, then just tweak it for whatever your situation is. So your goal is to have that healthy baby in your arms. It's not the pregnancy. And the reason I want to make that distinction is because we want your mind to go the full mile to the end point. The end point is not the pregnancy, because as some of you may already know, if you've had pregnancy losses or miscarriages, right? So do you understand what I mean about being clear about the end point? The end point is the baby. It's not the pregnancy. The pregnancy is just the way to get there. So modify your goal. Okay. So that's actually why I wanted to make this, to bring this up as your first question, because even right from the get-go, right out of the gate, there may not be clarity to bring about what you want, to manifest your dream. And you really want to be very clear about what it is that you want. And so the other reason why I encourage you to be clear is because even though it may seem obvious that it would be a baby that you're longing for, the longer that you try without success, for many women, that vision starts to seem further and further away. And so they kind of lose sight of that vision. And the doubts and the fears start creeping in to blur that vision until the focus becomes about overcoming infertility rather than on having a healthy baby. So then the decisions are made from a place of fear of losing time, fear that there's something wrong, fear that it's not going to happen, and impatience of why isn't it happening yet? Where's my baby? So despite all of that, despite all of those thoughts that go on in your head about that, those doubts, your job is to stay balanced so that you can keep your eyes on the prize and not get distracted by what's not happening or what's gone wrong. You do that by being fully present. This is part of your answer to how to get pregnant. That means no multitasking, eating, cooking, showering, working. Remove the distractions. That's social media, news, like the movies, like just hours of Netflix. You want to think back to a vacation. For many of us, it might be a while ago. Think back to a vacation that you really enjoyed, right? I actually just came back from Maui last week, so it's still fresh in my mind. When people are on vacation, they're generally very present because of the newness of the surroundings. Your senses and your energy are very open. And that was a time when you were fully present, when everything except what was immediately in front of you just fell away. There's no worries, no fears, no anxieties. You create your reality in your present moment, not from clinging to the past traumas, to the past memories, or anticipating a future that hasn't happened yet. So if you want to change your reality and your circumstances, you do that from the present moment. You can't do that when you're tied to the stories or the disappointments of the past, or when you're projecting into a future that doesn't exist yet. It's in the present moment where you can control your thoughts to create your reality, okay? So being present is absolutely essential for you to manifest what you want. Follow me on that, hopefully? So this is the key. The more that you live in the present moment, the more your soul calls in people and opportunities that resonate with your true desires and help you manifest them. I'm your manifestation. I'm an answer to a question that you have. So the more distracted you are, the less aware you will be of the people, the opportunities, the synchronicities, and the signs that are presented to you to support you on your journey. They are there, I promise you. You just have to open up your awareness to see them so that you can bring them into your experience to help you along on your journey. So your focus needs to stay on the vision, on what you wrote down or what you may have modified, and not what you perceive to be the problems, because you're going to get into your head overthinking, overanalyzing, overcomplicating, micromanaging. Sound familiar to you at all? So the time, your age, your diagnosis, your past history, they are only as much of an issue as you make them to be. The more you think those factors are what's getting in your way, the more of an obstacle they become. You have to believe in your ability to get pregnant and have a healthy baby is more than your eggs, more than your age. It's more than the diagnosis that you've been given, and it's more than your past history. So that means that you do not allow those circumstances to determine your future. Okay, try to disconnect that as much as possible and really connect with your higher self, with that inner calling to be a mother. If you know within yourself, if you feel really strongly within yourself that this is well within your capability, believe in that. And don't let anyone else sway you from that, because that's your truth. That's your inner GPS, and you want to stay true to that. Okay. And so I just want you to remember that you get what you expect, not what you want. So if you expect failure, if you expect struggle, that's what you're going to get. I would just I would recommend that you just rephrase it and say that this is going to be a fun and easy journey from this point on, and really commit to that statement. Okay. Now that you're clear on what you want, let's hone in on why you want to have a baby. So on a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write down the emotions and feelings you expect to have when you're holding your newborn baby in your arms. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few moments to write that down. What do you expect to be experiencing when you're holding your baby in your arms? And if you don't mind sharing what you wrote down, that'd be great. Thank you, Kathy. Joy and love, absolutely. Happiness, fulfillment, yes. Okay, so now on the right side, write the emotions and the feelings that you currently feel on your fertility journey. Alexis, pure connection. So on the right side, write the emotions and the feelings that you currently feel on your fertility journey, what you're feeling kind of pretty much most of the time when you think about it. And then if you can share what you wrote, I would appreciate that. Anxious, hopeful, scared, yeah, frustrated and confused. Yep. Okay. Determined, motivated, good. Doubt. All right, so look at your list and compare the two sides. Most people will have a list that's very different from side to side. Typically, the right side is of negative feelings, right? Like what's been listed in the chat box. So look at your two columns. Do they match? The farther apart the emotions on the right column are from the left column, the less likely you are to get pregnant. Putting it another way, the closer the emotions are in the two columns, the better and quicker your chance of success. The energy and vibration you give out currently must match what you want without actually having your baby. So I'm going to repeat this again because it is so important, and this is what I work on with my clients. You must be able to feel those emotions now without needing the physical manifestation of your baby. So you must be able to feel love, joy, contentment, peace, fulfillment, pure connection without your baby. How does this translate on a day-to-day level where you focus less on your problem and more on your desire for a baby, so that you tune into the frequency of your baby, you tune into those emotions? When you turn on the radio station and you want to hear pop music, you'll tune your dial to the frequency of the station that plays pop, right? You're going to bypass all the other stations, the country stations, the rock stations, jazz, news, whatever. You're not going to pay any attention to them at all because they're not what you're looking for. It's a matter, and it's as simple as tuning your station, your emotional feeling station, to your desired state of being. So this requires moment to moment awareness. And this goes back to being present, to being fully present, because you can't do this. You can't tune that frequently and that finely without awareness. So when you catch yourself talking about your obstacles to having your baby, change what you think, feel, say, and do to align with your vision, because that's truly what you want. And that's where your focus should be. And it's really a matter of making that decision that you don't want to be in those negative emotions, that you want to shift and you want to magnetize your baby to you because your vibration is on the same level, right? Just making that conscious decision. So tune your emotional radio station to what you wrote on the left side. Be very conscious about it. Most people have their thoughts on autopilot and so feel like life is happening to them, like the circumstances are out of their control. And that's why a lot of people feel disempowered during this journey, right? However, you can create whatever you want if you can control your thoughts, and it starts with controlling your thoughts. And it gets a lot easier with practice, I promise. So it's, in the beginning, it may be a little bit tough, but it does get easier once you become much more aware. So once you have that vision clear in your mind, you can optimize your success by integrating a mind, body, spirit approach to fertility. And this is another part of the answer to how you're going to get pregnant. And what does that mean on a practical level? So taking some supplements, eating the right foods, exercise. By right foods, I mean nutrient-dense foods. Exercising, moving your body. Our bodies are designed to move. They're not designed to sit behind a computer for 8 hours a day. They're designed to move. Reducing the toxic load. So just making sure that your personal care products are as clean as possible, that you're drinking clean water, getting enough sleep. Women are often not getting enough sleep, and you can tell because if you wake up feeling tired, you should be waking up feeling charged and recharged and ready for the day. Stress management is also important as well. These are all keys to optimizing your physical fertility, but I would encourage you to go beyond that and work on your emotional and spiritual health. And this is, what I've been talking about for the past 20 minutes is really paying attention to that emotional and spiritual health, because that is so critical to your success. In fact, in my experience, in working with women over 35, it's even more important than the physical health, because it starts and ends with your beliefs. If your belief system is making it more difficult on your fertility journey, then you should change your beliefs and to match what you want. And beliefs are just thoughts that you have over and over again. So it can be as simple as just replacing them. It really can be. I really, just on focusing on those emotions that you wrote on the left side, you will magnetize yourself with those high vibration emotions, and that will help to attract your baby. We've all felt how repellent those lower vibrations are. They feel like slime thrown on our energetic field, and you've felt this with negative people. You felt the difference with being with people who have a high vibration. These are people who are positive, non-judgmental, they're loving. You can feel the light from them, and you too can be that light. You need to be the lighthouse for your baby so your baby can find you. Your baby's out there. It's energetically, because your desire is so strong, it's already energetically there. Your job is to manifest it into physical form, to call it forward. And you've got to make it enticing enough to bring that spirit baby out of the spirit world where there's no problems there. They're having a great time there. So clean up your energy and your baby will come in much faster. Okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to present today and just share with you. I am available for questions now. We have like 5 minutes left. So thank you so much for joining me. And it's just been a privilege to be invited by the American Fertility Expo. If you want more fertility tips from me and find out about my upcoming webinars, you can go to my website, which is fertilityexpert.com. It is expert, EGGSPURT.com. So any questions about what I covered at all? Thank you so much for sharing what you wrote on in your journals. Okay. I don't think there are any questions.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Oh, it's me, Toya.
Toya?
What is your process of accepting someone into your program? Do they have to do a application?
I get on a one-to-one call just to make sure we're fit, because we're working on such a spiritual level. It does need to be something that, number one, that they're open to and that they want to do. Because although I do talk about like kind of the more concrete things that most people are used to, we go way beyond that, because the work that we do is through meditations. So the purpose is to activate the body's healing energy, to clear blockages. And the fun part is to connect with their spirit baby. And what else is that? Oh, and connect with their spirit guides to get guidance from moment to moment. Because that is actually the most powerful way to make this journey their own personal journey, because it has to be their own. You can't copy and paste someone else's protocol and expect it to have the same results. It may work, but usually it doesn't. And so, at least typically with the people that I see. And so, so people will email me with a brief summary of their situation, and we get on a call to see if we're a good match. Let's see, I think there was a question. Do I recommend affirmations? Yeah, I do. Absolutely. Affirmations are wonderful. And so use affirmations however you want, as often as you want. If the idea is to, whether it's mantras or affirmations, whatever that you're doing, the whole idea is to remove friction from your journey. The more friction that there is, friction equals stress. The more friction that there is, the more resistance, the more potholes there are on your way to your goal. And so if affirmations help, then go for it. Let's see what else. I was very motivated, probably in the best emotional and physical place in my entire life when we started trying. The fear, anxiety, and other negative emotions have come with losses and devastations. It's a part of the journey. It's hard to stay positive all the time. It's not so much, and I totally understand that. And so it is very difficult to continue to look forward when you've had losses and traumas, and understanding, and you wrote it yourself, understanding this is part of your journey, right? And if you really, if you want to be successful, it's important to be able to leave the past in the past and be able to move forward. Of course, take the time that you need to grieve the losses and whatever came up, but leave it in the past. Don't keep dragging it forward, because in dragging it forward into the present, what happens is they repeat themselves. And that's what happens a lot, is especially with women who've had losses, is because they bring the memories of that into the present, and then their focus and their fear is on that of it happening again. And in focusing on that, it increases the chances of it happening again. So, with losses, so grieve those losses, honor whatever, however far that you got along into the pregnancy, and then let it go. And you can let it go. It's a process that, you have to give yourself grace, really, and give yourself enough love to be able to say, it's okay that, and I see that a lot of people blame themselves, and it's nothing that you should blame yourself about. It shouldn't be something that you blame yourself about. And so, just recognizing that, sometimes these things happen usually we don't know what the reason is. And so because we don't know what the reason is, just let it go, release it. What techniques would you recommend? When the negative emotions come up, I really recommend that you recognize whatever the emotions are. Toya, if we go past the time, just let me know. Whatever emotions, and you don't even have to label the emotions, just whatever the physical sensations come up, physical sensations, sounds, images, whatever comes up, allow yourself to experience that. And then in experiencing that, you can ask yourself, can I let it go? When you ask that question, recognize that you can let that go as easily as you can not as easily, but if you can let go of a pen from your hand, you can also let go of those emotions, right? You don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to identify with it. And so you just let it go. And that's really process of it, is just not suppressing it, because what happens is most people suppress it. They don't want to acknowledge it because it's very uncomfortable to sit in those emotions. So let them come up and then release them. Let them come up, release them. And you keep doing this until it softens, and it will soften. If you allow yourself to process it that way, I promise it will soften, and it will actually completely release. And that's a technique that I teach my clients, and it works. It's very, very effective. Anything else? All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Okay.
Thank you so much, Julie. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Toya. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Bye. You do the same.